The American dream has become a nightmare. Signs of the time are on cardboard on corners in town. There's a cancer called crime in our cities and an unspoken fear. We're on our way down. We must take America back, put an end to the gangs and the drugs and the streets, and the fact that the bad guys most always go free. That is wrong. We need leaders who lead us, not stick us and bleed us and take all our money and send it abroad. We must take America back. We need prayer in the schools and more things made in USA. It's the least we can do for the red, white, and blue. We must take America back. It's a hell here on earth in some city schoolyard. When bullets and birth control outnumber books, something's wrong. There's a hunger for good news and heroes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the National Intel Report. I'm your host, John Stadtmiller. We'll be with you live on this 21st day of February 2005 for the next 2 hours. Program airs Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m., and that is Central Time. What a weekend. What a great start to the week. If you, maybe you didn't notice. Well, maybe you did. Jack Blood was not on RBN today, and there's good reason for that. The man jumped ship. And he's going to Genesis Communications, following Alex Jones. So for you local low-power FMs down here, I guess you all decided to carry Jack Blood and not Robbie Noel, which is helping me start the gold and silver business, which is going to pump the funds into this network to keep this network not only stable but growing. So you all out there in FM short-range radio land down here in Central Texas, I hope you're happy with your decision. Maybe you might want to change your mind after you hear what I have to say. And folks, this is a white paper. This is not embellishment. This is not anything. It's the straight stuff, the straight poop, as they say. And at that point in time, I'll let you decide. See, the problem is across the board in communication. You know, the reason why this network is here is because the lying media does exactly that on any given day. It lies to us. So we had to create an alternative. I don't like the term alternative media. I like an alternative to the media. We are the alternative to the media. And when this happens, it gives people a chance to hear what's really going on and the stories behind the scenes and what really is motivating things. What's shaking and moving? You know, why are things happening the way they happen? That's why we do this program. That's why we have this network, to do exactly that. So it comes as, well, maybe no surprise, maybe to some a surprise. By now, you've probably heard and seen enough that you're not really shocked by anything. You might scratch your head from time to time going, what was that all about? Well, before things get twisted out of shape, I am going to tell everybody the story behind the leaving of Jack Blood, he was not fired, by the way. He left of his own accord. He wasn't even fired the first time, but I'll explain all of that after this first break. But you may want to consider, ladies and gentlemen, picking up Jack Blood from Genesis Communications Network. If you go to their GCN Live and you take a look at their page, there's a technical advice for you low-power FM guys out there. If you like Jack Blood, well then, tune him in. But if you want to see Republic Radio and a great talk show host in his own right, Robbie Noel, and this network survive, you may want to rethink that position, and especially after the report I'm about to give.
ready for Real Talk Radio. You're listening to the National Intel Report with your host, John Stadtmiller.
It's got to be a Monday, folks. It's got to be a Monday. At any rate, 3 months ago, I went up to Minneapolis to go talk to Ted Anderson. And I congratulated him on firing Michael Trudeau, which was the big problem in the network. That was the idea to flip the format for the network and just to leave remaining people like Alex Jones and a couple other talk show hosts on their network. And I said, well, you made the first right move by firing Trudeau. And he said, yeah, he says, we're going to be redoing the format a little bit. We're bringing up Jeff Rentz, and told me that he was putting him on at night. And I said, oh, really? I said, opposite Alex? I said, was Alex all right with it? Oh, yeah, he's cool about it. Well, Alex didn't even know that Mr. Anderson had done that. I mean, from what I understand, it was literally a few days before Mr. Rentz came on the network that he actually had found out. And, you know, it was kind of strange because they apparently in the timeline, I may be incorrect on this one, but apparently the timeline suggests that while I'm sitting in Mr. Anderson's office, he's dealing under the table to strike a deal with Jack Blood. Now, understand something here, folks. This is not sour graping. What I'm about to tell you is for good reasons, and you will understand as I explain this. Now, there were two key individuals. When you start a network, you've got to have two things. Well, actually, two things to start. You have to have, A, an engineer, and this is the guy that comes in and puts all the components in and wires everything up. Chris Hansen was my engineer, not originally the engineer that was supposed to be here, but he stepped in and he did a very fine job for this network, and I'm eternally grateful for that. 2 months ago, actually 3 months ago, he quit the network with 1 week's notice, went to work for a guy up in Minnesota, and more on that. But I gave him a ride up there, which gave me the opportunity. I was going that way anyhow to go speak to Mr. Anderson. I was going that way anyhow, so took him up and dropped him off. Well, don't you know, folks, when you start a network, you need that engineer, but you also need something else. You need a way to fund your operations. And that means an inside sales guy. So Mr. Jack Blood was the guy. By the way, his real name is John Clayton. If there's any mystery out there, his real name is John. At any rate, I said, unless you're going to come down, if you're sure you're coming down here, I'm not going to start a network. I'm not going to do something that I'm going to be spinning my wheels and not doing it the way it should be done. And he said, absolutely, positively. Well, Jack Blood was hired as an employee to Republic Broadcasting Network, paid a weekly salary of $400 a week plus commissions. A 25% commission, by the way, which is good by any radio standard. His first week here, he sold $14,000 in advertising. I thought, man, this kid's something else. Good. We're going to be able to put this network together faster. He's also was hired to do affiliate relations. Well, after 1 week of being here, Mr. Blood decided that he wasn't going to do the job that he was hired to do, which led to some pretty contentious times here.